A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
Moon Knight director Mohamed Diab on the season finale Oscar. As the season finale of Marvel Studios' Moon Knight approaches, there have been a number of casting rumors.
The director of the series, Egyptian filmmaker Mohamed Diab, has been in talks to play the title role. His filmography includes the Egyptian franchises Ishaq, Clash and KO 678.
His films have been among the highest grossing in the Arabic market. Moon Knight's character isn't very well written.
The Moon Knight is a solid B-lister with dubious powers and an untreated personality disorder. Most writers go over these traits before getting to the point of making the character dangerous.
Warren Ellis gets it right, though, making him more dangerous than your average street-level hero. However, his character isn't very well written, so I'm not sure that you'll want to read this comic again.
Moon Knight's character isn't particularly well written, but the quality of the stories in this run have improved. For example, the Stained Glass Scarlet story from issues 26-31 reverts to the noir tone that set the tone for many of the previous Moon Knight stories.
While Moon Knight's storylines are fairly straightforward, they explore issues like morality and grief, and what makes a true hero. The character of Moon Knight is problematic and feels like a rip-off of Batman, and the writer's choices in this regard make the comic a difficult read.
The character suffers from multiple personality disorder and dissociative personality disorder, which make it difficult to write in a modern context. It is also difficult to make an understanding of the character in the light of modern society.
However, it's still an enjoyable series and is a great place to start if you're not a fan of Batman. Bendy's writing style is more urban than fantasy, and he's not afraid to use that in his writing.
He is also a master of weird mysteries, pulp villains, and esoteric ideas. The main character of Moon Knight isn't really a murderer, but a superhero with many identities.
Moon Knight's origin story would be a lot different if he were a murderer. May Calamai's character isn't very well written.
The character of May Calamai in the Moon Knight season finale isn't that well written, but her scene with Toward is superb. She plays Layla with a lot of life and mystery, and she does a superb job of hiding it as well.
This is a rare case of a character in a TV show being poorly written. The recurring cast of Moon Knight, including Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, are fantastic.
Whether or not they were perfect, the show had some moments of brilliance. Although the final episode isn't terribly well written, fans will still enjoy the show.
Although it's not connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the show is still an interesting standalone. If it's a good idea to watch Moon Knight again, you won't regret it.
Layla Al-Fali's character in Moon Knight season finale doesn't do a very good job of developing her role. While the show's writers avoided Hollywood cliches, she was a strong heroine who never actually became a hero.
After all, we are supposed to root for Layla, right? While the premise of Moon Knight is interesting and the series' pacing is generally good, the overall quality of the series is inconsistent.
The season's biggest twist, which involves the disappearance of Mark's alternate personality, Jake, is poorly written. Meanwhile, the season's post-credits sequence capitalizes on the audience's emotional catharsis.
The Moon Knight season finale focuses too much on Mark's relationship with Steven. The show focuses too much on the relationship between the two heroes, while failing to give Hawke any compelling material to work with.
Hawke's best moments come in the 2-on-1 battles with the heroes, while the rest of the cast are better served with the villain's attention. Moon God Khonshu has his own agenda.
Marvel's upcoming 2020 Avengers series has brought new life to the story of the moon god Khonshu. The moon god is the god of the moon, but Khonshu has much darker roots.
In his earlier stories, Khonshu was a god of vengeance. Since then, Marvel Comics have explored this darker side of the moon god.
In the comic series, we've learned more about the Moon Knight legend and how Khonshu has become a part of the Marvel universe. The moon god Khonshu first appeared in the 1980s in Marvel Comics' Moon Knight.
He's a member of the Ennead race, which the ancient Egyptians worshipped as deities. In Moon Knight, Khonshu manifests himself as a bird skull-faced entity and carries a crescent moon staff.
Khonshu's human avatar is the mercenary Mark Spector, who has a fraught relationship with Khonshu. During the series, Khonshu has also interacted with the Marvel characters Hawkeye, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, and the Fantastic Four.
In the Moon Knight Vitominus 6 series, Khonshu has a similar role to Red Wolf. He first appears to the Moon Knight in the form of a bushman and then possesses his friend Bertram Colley to force him to confront the committee.
The Moon Knight and Khonshu's relationship is reminiscent of Red Wolf and Oyodata, who had a similar relationship. During the previous arc, Khonshu appears to Stephen Grant in a dream, but his appearances have been brief.
The moon god Khonshu has an agenda of his own. Seth has chosen an avatar to act on Earth and cause destruction.
In the original comics, Khonshu is a mercenary. He has been helping Mark Spector to protect and avenge, but his agenda is different than Khonshu's.
Khonshu has been attempting to draw Spector back into his role, and he eventually accepts his mission. In the meantime, The Moon Knight is set to debut on Disney on March 30, 2019.
Mark Spector's relationship with Wendy. Mark Spector's mother Wendy used to be an affectionate and loving woman, but after her son Randall died, she became physically abusive towards her eldest son.
Wendy often blamed Mark for Randall's death, and she rubbed it in his face. When he turned 12, she whipped him with a belt.
Even though Mark's behavior was a complete reversal of their previous behavior, Wendy refused to forgive Mark for the incident. Mark and Wendy's relationship deteriorated when Wendy blamed him for Randall's death.
Wendy continued to beat Mark and call him a disgusting human for the death of her brother. Eventually, Mark was forced to leave Wendy after her rages grew into violence.
Although the relationship eventually recovered, Wendy remained hateful towards Mark for the rest of her life. She never forgave Mark for his treatment of Randall, and their relationship was over.
In the beginning of Season 4, Wendy and Mark's mother's death separated the two children. Mark went to Chicago for Shiva but could not bring himself to go in.
Stevens reappeared in Mark's life shortly after Wendy's death. This triggered Mark's dissociative identity disorder and led to him abandoning his family, including Wendy and Layla.
This left him reliant on outside assistance in the material world. While Mark Spector's relationship with Wendy is strained, they are still important to his life.
Wendy is the reason why Stephen Grant is created. Fernanda Andrade, a Brazilian actress with a long list of TV roles, plays Wendy Spector.
Ray Lucas, another actor with more than 30 roles, plays her brother Elias. Andrade's performance is also notable.
Mark's relationship with Wendy exemplifies the complexities of the character. Stephen Grant's relationship with Wendy.
In the season finale of Moon Knight, we see the relationship between Stephen Grant and his young son Mark. In the beginning of the episode, Mark and Wendy are reunited after his father Elias has built a child-sized play home.
Stephen is the only one of the two children who can recognize Wendy. Later, Stephen finds his son wandering the forest with his brother Randall.
He tries to stop him, but the young boy yells at him while his character is a lonely museum employee and self-taught scholar of Egyptian history. He's desperate for a connection.
He dreams of a life of adventure and danger and is desperate to find someone to share it with. Unlike his solitary existence, he is constantly dreaming about adventure.
But as his relationship with Wendy develops, the two begin to open up to each other, hoping to find that spark of connection they've been missing. The series also has an intriguing dynamic between Stephen and Wendy.
Although Stephen believes that he's an immoral killer and puts his life in danger, he comes to realize the importance of Egyptian mythology. In the end, Stephen and Wendy's relationship will survive the death of their lover.
And he'll be able to help his friend in the end. But will he be able to save Wendy and find the true love of his life?
Before the Moon Knight season premiere, Stephen did not know his mother had passed away. Mark returned to Chicago to do Shiva.
After his mother's death, Mark was unable to deal with the pain on his own and turned to Stephen for comfort. He eventually managed to get a second chance and finally meet his mother in the final episode.